This is Sport, bringing you that heat and that fart. We keeping the foot on the whoop, the eggs. We keeping the foot on the whoop, the eggs, and like the Tibetan Mastiff that I am, I'm applying what on immediate pressure, because pressure does what? Eat versus pipes. Let's talk about it, man. See, we have to give you the third iteration of Deontay Wilder was paid to lose, because that's exactly what happened. He was paid to lose. Deontay Wilder is a paid-to-loser, man. He did this in the Wilder and the Fury 2 fight. I'm ashamed and I'm appalled and I'm disappointed in Deontay Wilder because I know what I see, man. Discernment is second to none when it comes to Henos and Sport, dog. Let me say it again. Discernment is second to none when it comes to Henos and Sport, because he's bringing you that what? That heat and that fart. And he's keeping the foot on the what? The eggs. He's keeping the foot on the what? The eggs, and like the Tibetan Mastiff that he is, he's applying what? Immediate pressure. Because pressure does what? Eat versus pipes. Deontay Wilder took a paid to lose, because Deontay Wilder is giving you all kinds of bravado he never gave you before. See, if fight fans are being honest with themselves, paid to lose is what it is. Paid to lose. There's so many different iterations of paid to lose. It comes in so many different facets, so many different variations, and so many different forms. This form of paid to lose was Glovegate. Yes, this was still Glovegate. Glovegate is a form of paid to lose. Paid to lose is the parent name of how boxing corruption happens, man. Let me say it again. When Henos and Sport says paid to lose, he's giving you a parent name on how boxing corruption happens. Glovegate was something that was written up. It was a written script. It was meant to happen that way. Because Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury signed a trilogy fight. Now, Deontay Wilder and folks are entertaining Andy Ruiz, Big Titty Miller, Dillian White. If Deontay Wilder fights any one of these fighters, this is a regression, dog. This is not a progression. Let me say it again. It's a regression. It's not a progression. Deontay Wilder is part of the Tertullian Trinity. Trinity is not even biblical. You know me, man. I always got to break shit down, though. Because Henos in Sport, he stands alone by himself when it comes to being a three-dimensional thinker. Tertullian was the one that invented the terminology Trinity. Trinity is not even biblical. But if we're going to get into it, the Tertullian Trinity terminology is there is a trinity of heavyweights. Deontay Wilder is one of them. Tyson Fury is the other. Anthony Joshua is another. So Deontay Wilder fighting Andy Ruiz Jr. or fighting Dillian White or fighting Big Titty Miller takes him out of the trinity, man. It takes him out of that rarefied company. Now he becomes just like all of the other heavyweights. This is not a progression. This is a regression. This is why Deontay Wilder should have never accepted paid to lose via Glovegate. Glovegate is the actual paid to lose that happened. You know, I had a whole bunch of Rudy Poor and Plum Plum Brain say, well, you know, Henos and Sport, you said Glovegate, you say paid to lose. I have to explain it to you guys because a lot of people, you can see their brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo heads. Let me say it again. They are brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo heads. So when you're dealing with brain full of mush and brainwashed dodo heads, you have to spell it out to them. Glovegate is a paid to lose. It's a type of paid to lose. You think this script was not written? Frank Warren and Bob Arum said there was going to be a trilogy fight before the first punch was thrown in the first fight. What I said was so deep and profound. Let me let that marinate in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. So hear me fucking well. Frank Warren and Bob Arum said there was going to be a trilogy fight before the first punch was thrown before the first fight. Doesn't that remind you of Canelo Alvarez walking in the Jumbotron saying that he was a 4-time weight champion in 4 weight classes before he fought Sergey Kovalev? This is what the Threeprong Monster is all about when it comes to boxing. Boxing is so corrupt, I can't even begin to explain to you guys. And you have fight fans that actually believe that what they're seeing in front of them is real and it's authentic, and it's not, man. It's bullshit and it's fuck shit. And I get it. These fight fans that are in this one trick arcade viewpoint, let it keep it boxing, they want to sit here and tell you, oh, Henos and Sport don't know what he's talking about. But how come there's always some corrupt or controversial boxing decision? How come there's always something that happens in a fight? You don't think that's corruption? You're Rudy pulling you plum brains? You don't think that's corruption? The classic though, the troglodyte? You don't think that's corruption? You ultra fanboy with the ultra fanboy rhetoric? Fights that you know and I know using the true boxing eye test, it went one way, but it went and then it goes another. Deontay Wilder did not activate the bronze bomber. That was scripted, though. Jay Diaz having something to do with him and his water bottle and the spiking of it. That's why he wasn't athletic. That's why he wasn't explosive. All of this shit was scripted, man. But you fight fans are too much of dodo heads to not understand what's in front of you. You can't sit here and tell me, as a real bronze bomber fan, because I'm a real bronze bomber fan, nobody can question that. My catalog speaks for itself. Let me say it again. No one could question it because my catalog speaks for itself. But I'm not going to be a blind bronze bomber fan. That the bronze bomber was not activated that night. Where was the baptizing though? Where was the catch a body? Where was Bomb Squad? Where the hell was that? It was nowhere to be found. Because Deontay Wilder wanted money to basically finance that expensive ass woman that he's with. You could tell she runs that damn relationship. You could just tell, man. If you're an alpha, you know what I'm talking about. This kind of conversation ain't for betas, though. It ain't for beta cuck males. It ain't for pure beta supremes. This is for alpha males, though. If you're an alpha, you know the alpha male talk I just gave you. That woman is running his ass roughshod. And his ass needed some money. His handlers are running him roughshod. And his ass needed money, man. So he did that fucking paid to lose. I'm ashamed of Deontay Wilder. Because Deontay Wilder is a passionate guy, man. He's a guy that if he speaks it, he believes it. If he receives it, he shall find it. If he search it, he shall find it. If he ask it, he shall receive it. If he knock it, the door shall be open unto thee. This is the type of guy he is. He's a biblical guy. But boy, was he duped. And the good book tells us the very elect shall be deceived. Woo, woo. What I said was so deep and profound. Let me let that marinate in the corpus callosum and in the cerebellum. Hear me? And hear me? Freaking well. The good book tells us the very elect shall be deceived. And boy, was he not deceived. Deontay Wilder was paid to lose via glove game. And the fact of the matter that his pay to lose allowed him to get a dent in his head. Not only was he basically a black man during Black History Month robbed, but he was also lynched. And this is why Deontay Wilder is no different than any of these other fighters, man. Because Deontay Wilder did something that Floyd would never do, dog. That Andre Ward would never do. Errol the True Spence would never do it. Gervonta Tank Davis would never do it. They never gonna take no money and accept the L, dog. Because they know, as a black man, when that happens to you, there ain't no coming back from that. See, once Deontay Wilder catches his body on Tyson Fury, that's if he gets the opportunity to do it. Because I see what's going on. They trying to put his ass in a Sukuyumi, dog. They trying to put his ass in an okie-doke. They trying to put his ass in a switch and bait. But if Deontay Wilder follows my advice, because I love my brethren, through admonition, correction, and chastisement, I'm going to give him the ability from a business standpoint on how to deal with these affairs and how to govern your affairs financially. If he files an injunction on that ass, and he basically takes this completely through arbitration like he should, then Deontay Wilder will get that trilogy fight. But here's the problem. Here lies the problem. Even when he beats Tyson Fury, the stain of the pay to lose via glove gate, the stain of the fact that he has a dent in his skull, it can't be removed because he compromised. You see why I tell you guys it never pays off to compromise? You see why I tell you guys it never pays off to shortchange yourself? Because when you do this in its most cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat truth-teller fashion, there ain't no coming back from it. Why do you think Hino's Sport don't ever compromise on YouTube? Why do you think Hino's Sport always stays authentic and consistent? Because you are a public figure when you are a YouTuber. You did not understand that. Let me say it again. You are a public figure when you're on YouTube. People will be able to go back and look at these videos. That's why Hino's Sport always keeps that same energy. So no one could come back and say that Hino Sport was talking this language and now he's talking that language. Every time people have watched Hino Sport videos, they just say, man, with time you've gotten better. But it's always been the same Hino Sport that kept the same energy and that was always authentic and consistent as you know what. I'm stumbling my words again. But you guys are getting the message because the message still gonna go through. The revolution was not televised, but in this instance, the revolution is videofied. And what we're telling people is this, man. In its most cold-hearted, unadulterated, and cutthroat true teller fashion, Deontay Wilder accepting this pay to lose put his ass in a precarious situation. That's the cold-hearted. That's the unadulterated. That's the cutthroat true teller fashion. Once a pay to loser via Glovegate, always a pay to loser via Glovegate. Deontay Wilder, you will be able to redeem yourself, but you can never wash this stain off, man. This is Hino Sport, checking out.